With 34 ITIL-based practices outlined in the latest version of ITIL 4, what practices do you need to implement first? And how do you prioritise and make sure that you get the most from what best practice is prescribing? In this video, I'm going to provide you with a pragmatic way to be able to implement up to the 34 processes that ITIL 4 outlines. So let's get started. If we're just meeting for the first time, my name's Kirk Penn. I'm the Principal Advisory Consultant at Service Management Specialists. I've spent the last 15 years helping organisations to get more from their IT service management improvement initiatives. And today I'm super excited to be able to share with you how to prioritise improving or implementing your practices. So what do we need to focus on first? Well, it really depends on what your overall strategy is. Are you implementing processes for the first time, or are you perhaps looking to improve overall processes that you've already got in place? It's really a fundamental question, and we've got a number of videos on our YouTube site that help you to understand and help you to map out an overall ITSM strategy. Second question is, what are you trying to achieve with your ITSM? So is this supporting a digital transformation, or is it more about you're really looking to uplift or get to some type of operational excellence? It's really important to be able to understand that, because that's going to drive what to focus on first. And finally, it's easy to get overwhelmed. I've seen organizations where they've looked in the book and they've looked at the ITIL 34 processes and they just leave them because they just don't know where to start. They might get a couple in place, but they're overwhelmed with where to start. And this is easy to be able to do. So hopefully this video is going to give you some insight and some guidance around what to focus on first. So in the words of Benjamin Franklin, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And things couldn't be truer when we start to think about this. You certainly need to give some thought in terms of how you're going to go about this. So let's have a look here. What to focus on first? So primary controls is where we want to get to. We want to ensure that our house is in order, that we're not going to have any major impacts on business. And what we're talking about here is that for those controls, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, your target maturity needs to get to, or at least you want to be heading towards a level 2. Now in this video I'm not going to go into maturity levels, but 2 really is around a repeatable level so that things are stable. And even 2.5, which is really starting to move to that next level of maturity where you can start to automate and optimize. So really important to keep that in mind, but we're going to focus on our primary controls. What are those primary controls? So let's anchor back first to an overall enterprise service management model. This is something that we use often to have discussions with our clients. Fundamentally, controls are around CMDB and over here around our controls. This is really where we want to focus initially, and obviously getting our single system of record, ensuring that that is configured appropriately. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look. So those first level of primary controls are really around CMDB, incident management, request, change, problem. And this is fundamental. I think these are really your focus points until you can get to a level of 2 or 2.5 around those first 5. You really want to consider assets so that you can start to really provide some value around your CMDB, around asset management, and obviously service continuity. If something does fail, you know how to restore and how to repair it. So really important. So that's what I'd consider around your primaries. Now your secondary controls are things like release, service level management, knowledge, event, info security, availability, capacity performance, measurement and reporting. And it's really important here, service financial management as well. It's really important to consider that these are your secondary controls. Still important, but if you really had to focus, I'd get my primaries in place first to a level of 2, 2.5 before moving to these. Now, there is some others here, software asset management and also infrastructure and platform and also deployment. Now these were brought in as part of ITIL 4, and just in terms of a modern way of approaching things, and really if we think about things as a service these days, that infrastructure and platform and deployment management are significantly important as well. I would start to consider that as your secondary controls. Once you've got these in place, let's head back to our model here. So now if we look, we've got our CMDB, we've got our IT controls, and we're starting to get our secondary controls in place as well around the automation, monitoring the event, and obviously around our service portal as well, and our knowledge base. So let's have a look at what I would consider as your final set of practices that you want to focus on. What else is essential? And this is really important. Only build and improve what's important to your organization. So let's have a look. Service catalog. Now, obviously this is important. However, is a process to be able to support it as important as being able to provide it to the business and them getting value? I would say probably not. Service validation and testing. Now, you may have some capability around this. The same for continual improvement. This is really what we're talking about. If you've already got your practices in place, then we're really moving around continual improvement anyway if you're looking to uplift them. Strategy, organizational change, risk, architecture, portfolio, relationship, supplier. So these are things that typically organizations have in place for some type. Do you need to actually go and build them to an ITIL standard? That's entirely up to you. Again, only build and improve what's important to your organization. Also around workforce management and business analysis. You've probably got these type of capabilities in place already. Do you need to build them to an ITIL standard? That's up to you. You really need to make that decision. Okay, if you could only focus on one practice, and we get asked this question quite often, it would be your CMDB. Spend your time focusing and really getting clear about your CMDB is what I'd suggest. Okay, why is having an order important? Why is it important to have a prioritized list? Now, what we've been talking about today is really just a set of priorities that we would suggest, but again, going back to what's important for your organization and what stage you're at is the most important. But it does help you to gain momentum, helps you to show tangible improvement when you do focus this way. It provides a clear path forward, so you're able to build on that and everyone can understand. It also allows you to build on your successes. Now this is really important, certainly when you're needing to provide this back to your sponsors and talk that through. So the question of the day, how are you prioritizing your improvements? Let us know in the comments below. We're always really keen to hear from you. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper about prioritizing your ITSM improvements, then go to Service Management Specialists /call and book a 30-minute call with us. It's obligation free, and we're happy to talk to you about what's important for your organization. Even if you want to just chat about what you've done and what you want to do, I'm happy to jump on a call with you. We hope you've got some value from this video, and if you have, then click on the like button and consider subscribing to Service Management Specialist YouTube channel. Each week we bring you tips, tools and techniques to help you to improve your IT service management improvements. It's been a pleasure bringing this to you today. Until next time, see you later.